We are in 2025, and everything has been evolving like never before. In the previous video I talked about how Google's new quantum processor could change our lives, especially with AI capabilities becoming more efficient and smarter than before. In cars, AI has evolved a lot. The first ever self-driving car was a project done by Carnegie Mellon University's NavLab and ALV in the 1980s, but it only became standardized in 2013 with Mercedes Drive Pilot. Every other brand since then has started to become more curious to this tech, and as of today, Tesla leads in the AutoPilot industry. But the fight is still open, and many concept cars have appeared since then, and newer more advanced ideas are popping up in manufacturers' books. There's lots of things to talk about, so let's start from the beginning. What better way to start talking about AutoPilot than talking about new cars presented at CES 2025 in Las Vegas? You may not be familiar with CES, but in short it is one of the most influential tech events in the world, where every company showcases their latest invention. A brand in particular has caught the attention of many eyes, and that is Honda. They have been involved in self-driving cars a lot, like BMW, Ford, and of course Tesla. One of their notable milestones was the Honda Legend equipped with Level 3 autonomous driving capabilities, which was introduced in 2021. However, at CES, this year, they presented the Honda Zero. At first it seems like a normal car, nothing innovative, but there's a trick. See, the thing is that AutoPilot, as said earlier, it's not a new technology, and Tesla is leader of it as of yet, with their full self-driving experience. But the key optimization that Honda promises to bring is down to usage. Tesla's full driving requires a driver's supervision, and you still need to verify often that you're looking at the road, and that you keep your hands on the steering wheel. Assuming you fail to do so, the AutoPilot features could be put on hold, meaning that you will be forced to demonstrate again that you can drive without any issues, and you're not abusing the FSD. Honda, on the other hand, claims to have a new production car that will likely be a production car in 2026, equipped with Level 3 autonomous driving. Let's break this down. The driver, in the Tesla, currently has to be attentive to the road, and cannot get distracted. The driver in the Honda, instead, can relax more, with less stress, but he still should be careful in a dangerous situation, and must be ready to take control if it is needed. But let's translate this even further, shouldn't we? What does this mean for us, today, and in what scenario could any of the features that self-driving offers, be actually valuable? I mean, a lot of us feel unsafe even when it comes to drive, just because we're scared to do so. So why should a computer do it for us, something that can't be fully safe, and still needs to be checked on? Is self-driving really the future of automotive industry? Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, has actually been quite vocal about self-driving, and has done a lot to make this technology the future of automotive industry. Many may disagree, but he's actually got a correct point, believe it or not. See, if all cars were able to instantly react and make sure that they can drive themselves, then roads will become a lot safer, for both passengers and pedestrians. That is because autonomous cars simply have faster reaction times in everything. A robot will always react quicker than a human does, and it being a robot means that the error margin is much reduced, meaning that less accidents will happen, and reckless driving will be avoided. But even then, that may still not change your idea, so think of a situation where you are tired, or you just went out, and now you happen to be drunk. Self-driving cars will be able to drive you at home safely, and without you having to pay another person whom you may feel uncomfortable with. Also, it will avoid the burden of keeping you awake during long rides, so you can start a trip at night, and in the morning, you will wake up at destination. Isn't that just awesome now? But as all things, nothing is completely perfect, and that brings us down to the counter benefits. Are we really going to see these cars dominate the automotive industry? More than likely not. It may be too early to tell, but there have been many cases where AutoPilot-equipped cars have had mistakes, leading people not to trust these cars. While that can be improved with time, it will probably have ruined the general idea of these cars, so many will cross them out. Many may decide not to buy these cars, because they fear that they will replace humans, and this is also true. Many taxi drivers, Ubers, and truck drivers as well, could lose their jobs if AutoPilot was to be added everywhere, and this would cause huge losses in jobs, and potentially big social impacts. Going back to Honda, their newest series car, could change the path for road cars even more. Their latest Honda Zero could be one of the first ever cars that could be driven autonomously, and with close to zero input. Please remember that Tesla could be driven by nobody, and so they theoretically have this title, but their car still requires someone to check on it. However, it is essential that you know that Tesla is always being updated with over-the-air updates, like your phone, and newer, more efficient patches are being released, so could we see Tesla catching up to Honda before the end of this year? Make sure to comment your opinion below. I personally believe self-driving cars should exist, but there always must be a driver behind it. This ensures a job for someone, and a safety for someone else. That is because the car is always ready to act. So I believe cars have reached their best final form now. On top of that, there are many car enthusiasts like myself, that love driving cars, so having a full self-driving car could be an option that many will not look for, so as far as I can think, autonomous driving cars will not replace the other type of car. Very important is the topic of safety too. Nobody really talks about this, but aren't autopilot cars scary? What if the car could somehow be hacked? We live in a world where AI algorithms are always improving, so what if a car that could self-drive were to be hacked? Thankfully, it is almost impossible in most cars to hack the software itself, so that is a safety pillar you could take into consideration. For example, a team of researchers tried to hack a Tesla to allow autopilot-only mode without a driver, and it worked, but that was only because the circuit board was altered. So perhaps it is scary, but thankfully it requires actual experts, and very knowledgeable people. Lastly, in today's date, all autopilot-equipped cars are being released as electric cars, which is not something many people like. Being raised in a fuel economy, many still prefer the old gasoline-powered cars, because they have a lot of range, and they are very quick to refuel. But most importantly, they make a sound. While electric cars are best for comfort, so you could sleep in them, or even relax, many feel dizzy by the fact that they don't hear any sounds. The solution is to add a sound from the speakers, but that still doesn't take away that the car itself is battery-powered. Cars would need to recharge, and while manufacturers have made supercharging minutes quick, it still requires some time. So perhaps, it could be interesting if we could see brands collaborating in a unique battery pack that once empty, gets replaced in a couple of seconds with a full one. I hope this video was interesting, and if it actually was, please consider liking and commenting the video, and if you are curious, also ask any questions you would like to receive a reply to. Thank you for watching.